today is going to be the last class that I'm going to do. Well, not the last, but today is the last class of this month. And I'm doing the artist, Kara Walker. And I love Kara Walker. I've actually been to a bunch of her shows because she lived in New York for a long time. And she put on these really big, amazing installations. An installation it's an art show that you go to, but instead of like going to a museum, sometimes an installation can be in a museum, but usually it's like a really big exhibit. So instead of just like a painting or a picture by a person hung up on a wall, an installation is larger, it's more immersive. And she is really, really famous and known for these really big silhouette pieces that she does. And so she's an African-American artist, and she focuses a lot on history. And some of the history that she focuses on is like the history of slavery in our country. And she creates these huge, like whole rooms where she cuts out all of these silhouette shapes. And a silhouette, if you don't know, is it's black. It's like, they're usually all black, and they're usually just the outline or the outline shapes of something. So if you actually go when you clicked on the link to get into this class, you can see a couple of examples. If you Google her too, her name is spelled Kara Walker, Walker. You can always Google her. But let me go back to when you clicked on the link on my Zoom class, you can see that there's two examples. One was called Slavery, and the other one was called The Keys to the Coop. And these are really, really, really big. So you walk in and they're like, the whole wall is covered in these black and white silhouettes are almost life-size. So they're really, really cool looking. They're huge. And one of the things that she really focuses on is telling history and telling stories. And a lot of artists focus on history, but Kara Walker chooses a lot of like stories from history to tell. So I thought today we could do our own story told through silhouettes. And that story could be something that's from your own personal life. You could do a story about something that matters to you. You could do the story of your life since the pandemic began. You could do a story about your favorite moment in your life. You could do something that brings you joy. You could do a story about something that makes you really sad. You could also choose to do a story that is from history. So if you studied some history in school, and you want to do a story that is an actual historical story, you could do that too. But we are going to be telling it through silhouettes. So one of the reasons why I told you to get a black piece of paper is because that's what we're going to be doing our silhouette on. So let's see. I am going to switch to my other camera. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Scott, is that sideways? Hold on. There we go. There we are.
That's good.
All right. I think I moved it. All right. We all in focus? Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Scott. So, like I said, your story could be a personal story. Or it could be a story from history. I just saw the Vienna Victoria. You saw her artwork in the Broad Museum, the Broad Museum in LA. That's awesome. Yeah, and the Broad is really, really cool. Oh, the Board Museum. I don't know the Board Museum. I know the Broad in LA. I don't know, where is the Board Museum. I have to look that one up. Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments. Yeah, so she had this really cool piece of art that she did that wasn't a silhouette that I saw, that was in New York, and it was in an old sugar factory. And it was the Domino Sugar Factory. And it was a big old warehouse that used to be used to make like sugar cubes. Like, you know how you would get a sugar cube and you put your sugar cube in your tea or your coffee. Well, the factory shut down, but she made a giant sculpture out of sugar cubes. It was a sphinx, which was really very, very cool. It was very, very cool. But yeah, today we're going to be focusing on silhouettes. So I was thinking about what I was going to do, and I was trying to think about like what a personal story or something from my history that matters, that I thought was like an interesting moment in time. And I was thinking that I would do a story about when I moved to Iceland, because that was kind of important. It was an important moment in my life. It was like a really exciting time in my life, and I wanted to do something that was happy. So I think I'm going to do a picture of Iceland. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of when I moved to Iceland for a year is all of the sheep, because Iceland is just covered with all these fields, and the fields are littered with sheep. And one of the things that I learned when I was there is that I would always see sheep in groups of 3. And I learned that it was because one was the mom and the other 2 were her 2 babies. And I never knew this, but most sheep have 2 babies. They have twins. So I'm actually going to do some silhouettes of a sheep and 2 little babies. And then I'm going to, maybe another thing that makes for my story of Iceland, that we saw a ton of are waterfalls. So I had to think about how I'm going to make a waterfall using just black paper, because the tricky part of doing a silhouette is that you're only trying to capture the shape that is the outside, the outline. You're not trying to capture any of the interior detail. So you have to think about, how am I gonna draw this, or how am I gonna capture this just by doing an outline? So you really have to think about that. So for a sheep, it's kind of, I'm gonna do maybe a little baby sheep over here. I can draw in some of the fluff. Don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm gonna draw maybe
That's
her.
Better.
Yeah, I'll draw on her leg. A little baby sheep. So does anybody have any ideas what kind of story they want to tell, or what they want to, what kind of silhouette they're going to do? Like I said, it can be an actual historical story, or it could be a story from your real life. It's totally up to you. So I'm doing 2 little baby sheep right now.
Evie says indecisive, and Liliana and Heather Rose are asking, should we make our silhouettes on our darker paper, or can we do our lighter paper on the darker background?
Good question. It's totally up to you. Traditionally, silhouettes are done on darker paper and then glued to the lighter paper. But it's totally up to you. You do not have to follow that rule. You are the artist. You can make that choice. But yeah, traditionally, they're drawn on the lighter paper, or the darker paper, because yeah, they're traditionally drawn dark. The other thing about silhouettes is that a lot of times you have to exaggerate the features. So Kara Walker does this a lot. She exaggerates what a lot of the features look like on her people, or on her characters, because it can be kind of tricky to tell what something is by just doing a silhouette. So you have to think about, like, how is my viewer gonna be able to recognize what this shape is? So you might want to think about, like, how would you exaggerate your shape? So for me, I'm doing extra fluffy, like, little bumps to make sure that my sheep will be viewed as a sheep. So I'm starting to cut out my sheep. My little baby, ewe, is that a baby sheep? I think that's called a ewe. In Iceland, they're called kind and kinder. All right. So the other idea that I had, I was going back and forth between 2 ideas. One was doing a story right now of Iceland, which I'm doing now. But then the other idea I had was doing a snapshot of what my life looked like in the pandemic. So I was thinking, how would I do a picture of myself in, like, with a mask? I was thinking about, like, how I would how I would capture myself. Like, what would I be doing? Would I be watching the news? Would I be taking my dog for a walk? Because I do a lot of dog walking in the pandemic. I was trying to think about how could I capture what my life is right now? Because now is kind of a historical time. We've never been through something like this before. So thinking about, that was one of my other thoughts. And I decided to go with Iceland because I wanted to do something that was joyful. And Iceland was really joyful to me. But it's totally up to you. These are your personal stories. They could be the story of your favorite birthday party. They could be the story of something that, like, the most scary moment you've ever had. It could be the story of, like, something that you like to do with your best friends. It's totally up to you guys. Or you can, like I said, you can go historical with it. If you were learning about ancient Egypt and you want to do a story of King Tut, you could do like King Tut's tomb. I don't know. It's totally up to you. So here I have I already had my mama sheet cut out because I was just practicing before I got on the class. But now I have my 3 little sheep. I'm gonna go back out a little bit. I'm not gonna glue anything down yet. I'm just gonna kind of take all my pieces and put them here. And then when I'm ready, I'll glue them. I'll make sure they're all in the right spot. One of the tricks I like to do is, I don't know if you can see, but I drew the sheep on this side. I don't know, you can kind of see it. I tilt it towards the light a little bit. You can kind of see you can kind of see my pencil lines a little bit. So I cut it out like that, but then when I put it on my paper, I usually flip it to the other side so you don't really see any of the pencil lines. So I flip it so that it's upside down from how I drew it. So I think my sheep are kind of floating right now. I might add in some rolling hills. Does anybody have any ideas now? Any thoughts? Lambs. Thank you, Liliana Heather Rose. Lambs. How could I forget that word? What is wrong with me? Lambs.
I forgot it too.
Ewes are a female sheep. Thank you. That's a whole like class in itself. Like names of baby sheep, or names of baby animals. I feel like every animal has a different name.
Liliana is doing a campfire.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. You have to think about how you're going to do the fire, like with the smoke and the flames. That'll be a cool one. All right, so I have my sheep. I have some rolling hills, and then I think in the background, maybe back over here, I'll think about how I'm going to do a waterfall, because Iceland was just full of waterfalls. So maybe I'm not even gonna draw it in. I'm just gonna try to freehand cut some kind of wavy pieces of paper that might be like water dripping down or falling down.
Laura is thinking about doing a girl standing in the rain.
Ooh, that's a kind of nice one. I like that. I love being like standing in the rain. Actually, whenever it rains, my husband laughs at me because I always go outside into it because I miss, in Southern California, we get so little rain. I miss it sometimes. I don't know if I'll like this, but I'm just experimenting by cutting out some pieces of paper that are gonna kind of maybe the water like flowing down. Your parents make you stay in and work when it rains? Oh, bummer.
Kat has her hand raised.
Yeah, Kat, what's up?
So my question is, what if we want to do something super simple?
You could do something super simple, absolutely. It doesn't have to be complicated. Like sometimes the simplest things are the most effective. Yeah, what are you thinking of doing?
I was thinking of maybe doing my sewing machine.
Ooh, I like it. Do it. Have you been making things with your sewing machine?
Yeah, I'm working on an outfit for one of my stuffed animals.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. I love it. Sewing is tricky. That's something I never really got into doing. My mother was always the sewer, and she had one of these really old school sewing machines that like where you had to thread it by hand. And I just remember there being like 50 steps to just thread to just even try to thread the needle or put the thread on. And I was always too daunted by it, but I should see if she could teach me now.
Usually I thread mine by hand, but there
Yeah,
is an automatic threader on there.
is there? Yeah, my mom's was really tricky.
Yeah, it's like 5 steps, and then you have to get the thread to go through the hole on the needle,
Yeah,
which is the most tricky part. So, yeah.
that's cool. I love that you make stuff. You're sewing. That's a cool thing. That's
Yeah, my mom has sewn. She's not the best, so she like knows more than me, but
mm-hmm.
she knows a lot less than me. One, because of time, and two, because she gets frustrated because it takes
Oh,
lots of patience.
yeah, it does. Sewing does take a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience, and it also takes a lot of math skills and like being able to follow a pattern. Like there's a lot of really cool skills that you have to.
My sorry,
No,
sorry.
that's okay.
My whole family is really math centered people. My dad's an engineer, and my mom was a high school math teacher for
Oh,
many years. So.
that's great. That's good. Yeah. So yeah, you have to be able to really follow a pattern and like figure out like all the measurements. You have to be really good at measuring.
Yeah, my mom's gonna show me how to excuse me, how to alter some ribbon to make some trim.
Oh, very cool.
Because I have fabric that frays,
Uh-huh.
but since I'm doing a circle, I don't have enough room to double fold it under.
Uh-huh.
So I need to seal it some other way.
Ah.
And also a ribbon looks cool. And my sister found a ton of ribbon, so I'm probably going to use some of that.
All right. Oh, Pikachu. Let's see. I see. Oh, some other people joined in. I didn't even notice. Hi, Pikachu. Hi, Simeon. Hi, Lily. So if you guys just joined in, I don't know if you were here from the beginning. Hi, Laura. We are making our own stories out of like silhouettes. So a silhouette is a shape that is just the outline of a shape. So you can see that like my sheep are just there's no detail on the inside. So Kara Walker, the artist that we're looking at, she does these big installations of stories. Like usually she focuses a lot on history, and I think she's a lot of her installations are about slavery and the history of slavery in our country. And so she makes these big, huge installations that kind of depict that. So we're doing stories today. And I said your story could be a story from your life, your personal life. It can be a true historical story. If you were studying World War II and you wanted to do a snapshot of a battle in World War II, you could do that. It's totally up to you. I chose to do a personal story about when I moved to Iceland and like how I traveled some of the country and I saw sheep and I learned that like there was just you couldn't turn a corner without seeing a waterfall. So I wanted to do something that brought me joy because this was like a really joyful place to live. So that's my story, but I'm curious to see what kind of things that you guys are making. Does anybody want to share what kind of stories they're doing? I know that that Kat was doing her sewing machine because it's like something that is special to her. Does anybody else want to share any of the things they're doing? If you're not ready to share, it's totally fine. So one of the things that I do when I am working, especially with paper, like when I'm doing something that is more collage style, because this technically is kind of like a collage because you're gluing and cutting, is I don't ever glue anything down until the very end. And I work on adding in pieces. So like I'm working right now on this waterfall and I realized, oh, I think I need another little sliver right here in this little spot. So I'm gonna cut that out, and I'm not gonna glue anything down to the very end because I might move some stuff around and might play with the composition, how things are placed. Okay, something like that. Very cool. Oh, somebody else said they were going to do when they get in when they like standing in the rain, because that's like a special moment to them. And I love standing in the rain. You're doing a cat? Oh, that's awesome. Have I ever tried to cut out legs? I don't know. Sometimes it can be tricky trying to cut out tiny little details. If you're sometimes if your parents, if you're with your parents, a trick is if you have some super tiny little details and you have your parents a permission, you can use an X-Acto knife sometimes to get into tiny details, but you have to make sure that your parents have okayed that and that you are cutting onto something, because with an X-Acto knife, when you're cutting onto something, you can risk the cutting through and into a table or whatever surface you're working on, say. But I know it's something that I've done, especially with kids who are in like middle school age. Like if you're in 7th grade or older, usually we've done it in school, but you have to get your parents' permission for that one because they are sharp. We're working with an art knife, but scissors work too. Like I'm just using scissors today. So right now my waterfall is floating, so I need to attach it somehow. I think I might add in like some sort of rock surface behind it. So actually, to do that, I'm gonna scooch this over. Let's see here.
Heather Rose is doing Disneyland.
Ooh, that's an awesome one. What part of Disneyland? Are you gonna do like one of the rides? Are you doing the castle? What part of
castle?
The castle, yeah, that's so iconic. The castle's a good choice. Very cool. Nice. Do you have a favorite ride at Disneyland? I think what my favorite ride we went right before Disneyland shut down, like a couple months beforehand. Then we went to the new Star Wars ride. It was really cool. We went to that one. We went to the Rise of the Resistance. It was pretty cool. I agree. It was fun. That was a good ride. All right. So let's see. There's this waterfall coming down. See. I might need to cut off the bottom a little bit because it's coming down. And this is like maybe like a little opening in the rock. Maybe it's coming down in front of a cave. So let me cut this bottom part off down here. I hope everybody's had a good week. Was anybody doing any camps?
I'm going to add, Liliana likes Rise of the Resistance, but she also really likes Indiana Jones, Space Mountain, and Smuggler's Run.
Ooh, yeah, I agree with all of those. The Space Mountain is really super fun. It's always a classic. My first time going to Disneyland, we went like on a Wednesday in the rain, and it was the best because nobody was there. And we rode Space Mountain, I think, 3 times because there was no line. It was so much fun. It was the best.
Evie's doing Adobe Illustrator camp and Japanese.
Whoa, really? That's awesome. That's so cool. I love that you're doing Adobe Illustrator Camp. That's a really cool one. I want to join. I want to take an Adobe Illustrator Camp. Those are really good skills to have. That's awesome.
Pikachu just got back from a camping trip.
Yeah, nice. Where'd you go? A national park? Yeah, that's awesome. That's super fun. That's what summer is for. Is that why you're doing and had a river? Is that why you're doing a campfire? That's pretty awesome. That's a good choice. Okay. Here's half of my. You're not that good. You're a beginner. That's okay. I'm a beginner using Adobe Illustrator too. I have only limited experience in Adobe Illustrator. So cool. But like I said, those are really good skills to have. So I'm thinking about maybe adding me into this picture. I'm not sure exactly where I'll go yet. A lot of the time I was taking pictures of Iceland, so maybe I'll do me with a camera. I have to finish the other side of this waterfall though. So this waterfall is coming down, but I need to do the other side of it. And like I said, I did it like a little cave because a lot of times when there's a waterfall, if the waterfall's been in a place for a long time, it carves into the rock or the rock face that it's on. So I left it like a cave. The water eats away at the rock face as it rushes over. Something like this. It's tricky. You have to, a lot of times when you're doing something like a silhouette, you have to find solutions because it's not like drawing. You have to kind of create. How do you create something that doesn't have any details on the inside, like a waterfall? A waterfall would be pretty simple to draw because I could just draw like all the bits of water rolling down. But with a silhouette, it's a little trickier. I have to play around with the paper. How am I going to make this work? One of the things I love about art is like you have to figure out. You have to play around with it and kind of like solve these problems. There's no right or wrong answer either. So I'm just kind of taking my paper and like I said, this is like the mountain. Something like that. There we go. So next month it'll be a totally new theme, and we'll have all of the new curriculum, all the lessons up by I think maybe the end of this week, maybe the beginning of next week. So check back if you're curious what's going on for our free classes next month. I know we're all designing new classes, so we'll have some new stuff to work with. Let's see here. I'm going to cut off this part. This.
Evie says she's excited for the new classes.
Yeah, I know Rhiannon and Ben and I are coming up with some new things, and Mike Funt's still teaching, right? He's
Yes.
probably coming up with some new stuff too. Then,
Yeah.
awesome. Let's see here. So, here's my waterfall kind of coming down. I think I need a little bit more water now that I'm working on this. I think I need a little bit more coming down over here. But I'm happy.
Pikachu is done and would like to share.
Yeah, let's see. You finished fast.
Is mine.
Whoa, Ninja Legend. Do you play, like, is that like a game? So tell me about this. Tell me about Ninja Legend.
It's a Roblox game, and this is my Roblox avatar.
That's awesome. Very cool. Do you have anything else you can add to it?
I'm gonna add a little background.
Yeah, do a little bit of background, but that's awesome. Very cool. Nice on figuring out how to do your Roblox avatar in Silhouette, because that can be tricky. Very cool. Here. Another little one here. So, Pikachu, is that you learned how to create a campfire when you actually went camping? That's so neat. You learned, yeah, because there's like a trick to stacking the wood the right way. I hope you guys made s'mores. It's not a campfire without s'mores. Let's see. Let me flip this over. All right, okay. So here's some Iceland. If I have space, I might add in me with my camera, but I think before I do that, another thing I might want to add in is like the sky. So in the sky, sometimes in Iceland, it was, I'm gonna add in some stars, but then I'm also gonna add in some of the northern lights. So Iceland is really far north, and a lot of the time there would be these really amazing, like the aurora borealis would come up, and you would look up in the sky, and it would just be these really beautiful colors, like greens and purples, and they'd be swirling. It's a really cool phenomenon. So, oh, and that's a little kria, it's a little bird. Lots of little birds. Krias are like Arctic terns. So Arctic birds. In fact, I'm going to take this little bird. I'm going to trace him because I'm going to do a couple of them.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I see another hand up.
Yeah. Hi. Let's see. What are you working on?
I was working on.
Ooh, tell me about this.
This is Edonomy from Roblox.
Cool.
This is my character named TY4YSRWQA.
TYYYYRW4K. Very cool. That's a cool name.
It's not 4. It's TYYY 4 Ys and then RWQA.
RWQA. Gotcha. Very cool.
And these are the presents that you can buy, and this is my controllers.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
Sun.
Oh, I see the sun up in the
It
top.
has music, but I can't put music too much.
Oh yeah, how could you depict music? Like, how would you do that?
I don't know. I just can't.
Maybe you could do little music notes floating around in the sky, just because sometimes you can use a symbol. Do you know what a music note looks like? It's like
Yeah, but it's hard to draw.
I'll show you how. I'll show you an easy way to draw it. So the easiest way to draw a music note is you come down with a line, and then it's almost like you're drawing a little foot. So it sounds like that.
Oh, it's like piano?
Yeah, you could just do like a little music note, and then there's like a little flag on the top. Kind of like that.
I don't normally do that.
Well, if you don't like, it's up to you. It's totally up to your idea. You could do little music notes floating in the sky. You could, but I loved your little sun. I also liked. Oh wait, can we go back to your picture for a second? Can I see it? Can you show me? I wanted to see your little tent.
That's the circus.
That's the circus tent.
We made a circus.
Oh, so cool. Very cool. I love it. And what's on the very bottom? Tell me what else is on the bottom.
What bottom?
The bottom of your picture?
Oh, this?
Yeah, what are those?
That's my neon. You have pets that you can click on, and then you can zoom in, and you have the pets following you, and you can take care of them, and you get money. You earn money.
That's so cool. I love it. I love that you added that in. Very cool. Nice job. Really nice job. I love all the different types of things people have chosen to, like the different stories. Like some people are doing stories from their favorite games. Some people are doing stories from like activities or things that they've done in the past. Sometimes people are doing story. I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody's doing like history. I wonder if anybody's doing history. Let me see. I'm going to cut out a couple more little birds. Birds. The Kria, the Arctic terns in Iceland, were really funny because they're they lay their eggs on land, and they're really, really protective of their eggs. And so in the springtime, spring and summer, when their eggs are before they've hatched, the mom and dad Krias will get really, really aggressive on the just they want to make sure that their eggs are safe. And so what they'll do is they'll stay near the ground, and so like they'll have eggs, and then what they'll do is they'll swoop down, so they'll fly down and they'll go whoosh, and they'll like get really close to your head if you walk in a field where their eggs are laid. And it's extra funny because the sheep are almost always walking in the field where the eggs are, and the Kriya will like dive bomb their heads. They'll just go whoosh, and the sheep just don't seem to care. They just don't seem to care. They just ignore it because they're just busy eating the grass. But I always thought it was really funny looking. It's always super funny.
Pikachu says my drawing is done.
Oh, let's see. Sure.
Here it is.
Oh, tell me about it.
So my character's like playing a ninja game.
Oh, I see all of his knives. That's cool. So wait, who's on? Is that the sensei master on the left?
Yeah, that's how he trained.
Cool. And what's on the right side? The other
Oh,
side.
that's like a ninja entry.
Oh, I see. It's like the gate. I see how it's like curving up. That's like the dojo.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. I love it. I love how yours is like a ninja master, a ninja legend. What's his name? Does your avatar have a name?
Yeah, it's on top. This is his name tag. It's Asian Romeo. 6. I forgot to add a 6.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I love it.
No problem.
Yeah.
Here's Evie.
Hi, Evie.
I'm gonna add more, but here's mine.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So tell me about these. Are these cats from your life, or are they just cats from your imagination?
Well, I have 2 cats, but it's kind of like supposed to be based on like a cat walk cycle, but I can't cut.
Oh, I see.
legs
You're
very well.
Yeah, you're doing like the motions. I see. Hold it up again. Let me see.
Okay.
So it's going up. Oh, actually, you know what? I can totally tell, like how you had on the first one, the left paw is forward,
Mhm.
and then you're like, it's moving, and then you can see that the right paw is forward on the last one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You
Thank
could do something else like that to show the time moving. So like in each like little segment, like you could add another element. Like for instance, it could be like a ball of string, and like it's like unraveling a little bit more in each to
Oh,
show. Or yeah, see if you can add a second element that will show that time is like passing, or there's more like movement happening. Or it could be something flying in the sky. It could be like a butterfly. It could be, I don't know. I always think with cats, I always think like a ball of yarn, because it'd be pretty easy to do like a ball of yarn kind of unraveling as your cat's like pawing at it.
Yeah.
But I love that's a cool idea to show movement. Another little birdie. Have some birds happening over here. All right, let me check the time. Oh, it is 10:45, so we have about 15 minutes left.
Here's Kat.
Yeah, let's see.
So I'm not quite done yet, but I thought I'd share because I'm not sure if I'll finish in class.
Okay.
And so here's my sewing machine so far. I just realized I put this upside down, so I'll have to.
Ooh, oh my gosh. It definitely looks like a sewing machine to me. Wow, that's a great silhouette. You can really tell.
So we
ahead.
were doing shadows, I think, in another class.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my sewing machine, and it wasn't silhouettes, it was just tracing shadows.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that in the shadow, I lost the curvature of the sewing machine.
Okay.
So I'm all, how can I still keep the curvature right? I'm not sure if you can see it because my camera's foggy, but
I can definitely see it.
how can I keep the curvature while still being a silhouette? So I decided to cut it into 2 pieces.
That's so, what a smart choice. Very cool. And I can really see like the needle coming down, and like that little, like the foot that holds the fabric in place. You can really, it's really successful because I feel like anybody coming up to that picture would be able to tell it's a sewing machine. You really nailed the shape of it.
I also had lots of room to work with because I got a really big piece of paper.
Yeah, that does help.
One
That
of
definitely
my squares, of 2 squares, if it's like over 2 squares of my bookshelf.
Yeah, that definitely does help. Very cool. Nice job with the shape and the silhouette. And it was actually, I'm glad you talked about shadows. I didn't even mention that a silhouette is essentially something shadow. And you're essentially trying to draw in shadows. So how do you do a shape that looks familiar just with shadow, with a silhouette? That's a good comparison, Kat. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Also, I thought of a really random question.
Sure, what's up?
What's everyone's favorite thing to do in their free time?
Ooh, that's a good question. What is everyone's favorite thing to do in their free time? Mine would probably be read. I'm a big reader. I like reading books. What about you? What's your favorite thing to do in your free time? Is it sew, Kat?
Well, I like to sew, and I really listen to books a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't say read, I said listen. I listen to lots of audiobooks. And then I just chill in my room a lot.
Cool.
I sew or I color.
I see.
And I do arts and crafts, but not as much as my sisters.
Yeah, I see a bunch of people responded. So Evie said animate, draw, and read. Liliana reads. Laura said she does art. Awesome. Pikachu he likes to play on his computer. Liliana and Heather Rose. Liliana does reading, writing, and drawing, and so does Heather Rose. Yeah. Read and draw, Simeon. Very cool. Yeah, that's reading and drawing are my 2 favorite things to do in my free time for sure.
And this is a weird one. I just thought of one more
Yeah.
thing that I like to do in my free time is I really like to watch bits of My Little Pony.
My Little Pony was my favorite show when I was really little. The original. Very cool.
I watched the new Friendship is Magic.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's kind of why that question actually came to me, is because I was thinking about the very last bit of the series.
Good questions. Really good questions. All right. I am going to make YouTube videos. Very cool. I'm going to start gluing some things down. I know I haven't done myself yet, but I'm not sure where I would put me because I don't know if I have enough space. So I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing because I have a lot of little pieces and I don't want to like finish the class and not have time to glue it all down. So if you're ready to start gluing, you're more than welcome to start attaching your pieces down. Just make sure that everything's kind of in the place that you want it before you start gluing it down. Like, it's called composition. So the composition is how you place things on your paper so that they make sense or so that they're aesthetically pleasing to you. So try to figure out your composition first and have everything kind of laid down in the place that you want it. And then I just kind of work a piece at a time, and I try to start with the bigger pieces. And I don't need a ton of glue. I just kind of do a couple dots. But I do, because especially for these waterfall pieces, they're all these little long, thin pieces. I try to put glue kind of along the whole thing so that I don't have any little like tips of the waterfall pieces like popping up. So if you haven't started to glue yet and you are ready to start gluing, you should go ahead and get started. Or if you're just going to finish it later, it's totally up to you. I know, and sometimes an hour is just not long enough to have a totally finished piece. Sometimes you just need more time. I know I do.
Here's Vienna and Victoria.
Oh, girls, let's see. What were your stories? What did you girls choose to do?
I like watching squirrels, and they like eating our plants. So I did. They like eating our pomegranates and our rose leaves and our orange tree leaves.
Wow. Is that
in the summer?
Is that a bite that the squirrel has taken out of your fruit?
We have a whole family of them, so we see at least one of them every day.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But sometimes we see the whole family.
Do you really? I know I've had to fight the squirrels to save my vegetables before.
We don't grow any. Well, we do grow vegetables. Just one type though, not many.
Yeah. We had the problem where the squirrels, I had a rooftop garden and the squirrels a neighbor kept giving them nuts, and the squirrels would try to bury the nuts in our planters. And so they would dig up all the soil and bury their nuts, and then my plants would be like destroyed. So I had to put down wire, chicken wire.
They dig holes in our garden too.
Yeah.
They dug up one of our taros also.
Oh no. Well, I love it. Your squirrel shape is a perfect silhouette. I can really, anybody could tell that it is a squirrel from looking at that shape. That's awesome. I love it. I love that picture. Very cool silhouette. Let's see. Wow. Ooh, whoa, look at that. That is a beautiful collage. It's like it's a woodland, you did like a woodland scene. Tell me about that.
It's this. Where is it? It's mountains or forest? A forest or something.
Yeah? It's like, is it like a real forest or is it like a fantasy forest?
fantasy, I guess.
Ooh, I like the leaves that you the trees that you did, and I really like the squirrel that's in the tree, and the butterfly. Ooh, and the flowers. Tell me about the animal. What animal did you do?
There.
Very nice. It looks like it has like it's like a baby deer, and it's like horns or aren't grown in.
These butterflies.
Yeah.
Not much animals.
Well, I love it though. I think that sometimes you don't want. Very cool. Very, very cool. I love it. You girls did a great job. I like beautiful silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, could you hold up your other squirrel one really quickly? I'm gonna take a quick photo. In fact, I might go back to, oh yeah, do both like that. I might go back and take some photos of anybody else who has shared, because I realize I always forget to take photos. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anybody else who wants to share their work? Gluing.
Are you gonna cut out some walnuts today?
Kat, are you still here?
I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't do a sun.
Liliana, Heather Rose, are you guys ready to share? You want to share?
I was wondering if we could share in a little bit. I'm not ready yet.
Sure, absolutely. There's no rush.
Okay.
Hey, Kat, if you go, can we go back to you? I forgot to take a photo of your sewing machine.
Sure, I added one thing.
Awesome. Hold on, let me set this down because it has glue all on it. 1 second. All right. Okay. Let me take a quick photo. I realized I'm terrible at taking photos of your work, of everybody's work, and I always forget. And I made a promise to myself. Thank you, Kat. I got it. I made a promise to myself that I would try to be better at getting some screenshots or quick photos.
There's
I
Laura.
added, oh, sorry.
Oh, hi, Laura.
Okay, I'm not done yet. I'm gonna add some raindrops, but here's my.
Ooh, that looks awesome. What a great silhouette. I love it. So I honestly like in the walking in the rain is one of my favorite things. I really love it. I think it's because we don't get so much rain. But that looks awesome. And your silhouette again is really striking. It's really good. You can really tell from, I think anybody looking at your picture could tell that was a girl holding an umbrella in the rain. Or a lack of rain. I know you're going to add the raindrops. Very cool. Very, very cool. Nice job. All right. Oh, bye. Bye, Evie. She might have already left. All right. Moving down the rest a little bits. Yeah, the trickiest part is you don't want to lose if you ever go back, like if you're, especially when you're working with collage and things that you have to glue, you want to try to glue down as much as you can so that you don't lose pieces. I know it's really common when I was teaching in the classroom that if a kid started something one day and then didn't finish, that they lose all their little pieces. So try to glue down what you can. Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to share? There's just a couple minutes left. So if you'd like to share. I know Liliana and Heather Rose, you're not done yet, but whenever you get to a point where you have some things glued down. All right. Oh, your mom and dad use natural stuff to keep the veggies growing? Yeah, that's a good idea. Squirrels are super, super cute, but they are very destructive. They're very destructive.
We live in the desert, so we don't have any squirrels.
Yeah. Oh, you have lizards. And do you have any coyotes?
I've never actually seen one in person, but I think we do. We saw a rattler snake out on the trail the other day.
Ooh.
We were going on a hike.
So what do you do when you see a rattler snake? Do you just walk the other way?
So if it's so when rattlers are gonna rattle, they'll puff up,
Mhm.
kind of, and they'll raise their tail. This was just, it was not puffed up. So
Yeah,
what you do is you stay pretty still and you let it go on its way, and then you go around it.
that's smart. Super smart.
And then if it's puffed up, I believe you want to stay as still as you can.
Yeah.
Then you are
and you try to walk the other direction. That's probably what I would do. Back away slowly.
Well, you want to stay still because the more you move,
Yeah.
the more you'll alarm it.
Okay, that's true. That is true. Good point. Yeah, I worry more about my like dog running into a rattler than I do about me. But yeah, those are good tips.
Couple hands up. Here's
Yeah.
Laura.
Hi, Laura.
So just to clarify, we do have coyotes, and I've seen a few times I've seen them in our backyard.
Ooh, really? Whoa. That's crazy.
Really, Laura?
Do you guys have any pets that you have to be worried about with the coyotes?
We have a dog, but I don't think we have to be worried about her.
Okay.
Laura and I are sisters, just by the way.
I figured that. I just made that connection when she said to clarify.
Here's Liliana and Heather Rose.
Yeah, hey girls.
Okay. For this, yeah, I know. Just to speak for now.
Okay. Sorry, I still have glue drawing, so I just wanted
See, whoa. Tell me about that. Oh, cool.
to join the fire.
Wait, hold on, I can't hear you. Try now.
Fireworks at Disneyland.
Yeah, I see the fireworks, and you see you're standing in front of the castle, and your arms are up. So cool. The fireworks are some of the best part. The light show is like some of the best parts of Disneyland. Very nice. I have a question. Did you look at any pictures of the castle when you were doing it, or did you do it just from your imagination? Very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you.
I'm almost done. I just need to cut out and glue down this one star,
Okay, no worries.
so it should not take very long.
No worries. Oh, bye, Laura. Laura bowed out.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I think I'm almost done with mine. One of my last tricks is when let's see. Ooh, look at that campfire. You did a great job with the silhouette of it. And I see that you're all sitting on benches. Which one's you? Which one's your sister?
Me, this is Heather Rose, and these are two of my friends from going to camp.
Oh, that's awesome. And in the sky, tell me, is that a plane flying by, or is that
The moon.
it's the moon. I see it now. Sorry, it took me a second, but I see it now. I see the crescent moon behind the cloud.
Yeah.
Very cool. I totally get it now. I totally see it now. And even like the little stars that you've done in the sky, those look awesome. And I love it. You totally captured that whole scene. Really, really nice. Really nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful work. Oh wait, actually, can you go back, Scott, for 1 second? I'm just going to take a quick photo of both of you girls. Oop. 1 and 2. Awesome. Thank you for sharing those. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I hope everybody had a good time. I hope you guys learned something about making silhouettes. This was here. I'll hold up mine so you guys can see. This was. Oh, one piece fell off. That's always a good trick. Hold it up and see if anything falls off, and then you can make sure you glued all your pieces. One last trick whenever I'm working, sometimes I'll take my paper and I'll flip it over to the back, and if I notice any like little bits hanging off, I'll trim them up. It's like a last little collage trick of mine, just to clean up the edges. But yeah, you guys did an awesome job. You guys came out with some really, really cool pictures. Oh yeah, is there anybody else who wants to share? Yeah, go ahead. Who is it that said that?
That was Kat.
Okay, Kat, let's see.
Here, maybe it would help if I turned around my camera. I tried to hold it up, but you couldn't see the bit I added.
Okay.
There's the thread,
Oh,
and
I
it goes
see.
down to the sewing machine.
Nice detail. Really nice detail. Very cool. Great silhouette. You guys did a really, everybody did a really awesome job. The capturing their shapes in silhouette, which can be tricky because it's a totally different style of making art than drawing. It's just a totally different technique. But you guys did an awesome job. All right. Check back later at the end of this week or early next week for classes from. We'll have our new classes posted.
And Judy says thank you, and she's doing her last year's trip to Sagrada Familia, and she'll show when she's done.
Ooh, I would love to see that. The Sagrada Familia is so beautiful, so beautiful. I would love to see your rendition of it. Gaudi is amazing. It's and all of the stained glass pieces in there. Like I could have spent like days in there. Beautiful. I can't wait to see that. Thanks for sharing, or thanks for telling us, Judy. All right, awesome. Okay, guys, and ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys next week. Check back. Okay, all right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Very nice.
Bye.